Hi everybody, sorry the camera's shaking. Welcome to another video. I'm here studying my Bible. Today for class I have to study, or for this week I have to read all of Hebrews. And I'm reading chapter 2 of Hebrews right here. And I'm going to read it to you because God spoke to me and I hope he speaks to you as well, just as a reminder. Chapter 2 of Hebrews, verse 14. I'm going to put my glasses on, you know. Little girl is needing glasses now. But chapter 2, verse 14 says this, "Inasmuch then as the children have partaken of flesh and blood, he himself likewise shared in the same, that through death he might destroy him who had the power of death, that is, the devil, and release those who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. For indeed he does not give aid to angels, but he does give aid to the seed of Abraham. Therefore, in all things he had to be made like his brethren," meaning us, he had to be made like human, "that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to God." Right? Jesus is set to be on the throne and take that on the white throne. Remember Revelation? So he's our high priest, to make propitiation for the sins of the people. For in that he himself has suffered being tempted, he is able to aid those who are tempted. And so it's just a reminder to me and a reminder to you guys. Sometimes when we go through problems and we go through certain temptations and certain sins that we are facing, sometimes we feel ashamed to come to God and say, "Lord, I'm dealing with, I have a problem, I can't stop lying." Or, "Lord, I'm being tempted sexually." Or, "Lord, I'm being tempted to A, B, or C." Whatever it is that you're going through, that you feel like you can't really break through that. And you read your Bible and you go to church and you pray and you fast, but still that sin, that certain sin, it has a hold on you. It has kind of like a chokehold on you, and you do it and you start crying because you know you're not supposed to, and you know that you are a child of God, you're supposed to be set free, and yet it has that chokehold on you. And it's sometimes we fight with ourselves, and instead of saying, when we are facing that particular temptation, instead of saying, "Lord, listen, I really want to commit adultery right now, and I'm being tempted by this person and this and this and that. Please help me because I'm dealing with this right now." Instead of whatever it is that you're facing, right? Instead of coming to God and saying, "Lord, I'm gonna be real with you right now. I'm facing this temptation. I'm facing this sin. I'm facing this problem, and this is what I'm feeling. And unless you help me out, I'm gonna sin. Like, this is a really big temptation. I can't do it on my own." Sometimes we don't do that. We usually just cry. We usually just we have this thing where we feel like we are failures because we have succumbed to that sin. We end up feeling horrible about ourselves and feeling like we're going to hell, and it doesn't help that we go to church and we have other Christians who, instead of uplifting us and helping us through prayer, they judge us, right? And it's hard sometimes when we're facing through things because we know that we don't have anybody in church, unfortunately, that we can open up to and trust and say, "Hey, I'm dealing with this. I'm having these thoughts. Can you help me in prayer?" And somebody that's going to keep it a secret and going to help you in prayer without judgment, So usually our pastors, it's really hard for us to go to our pastors and say things like that. And so we keep it to ourselves, and we keep thinking that we're failures because we keep sinning, because we keep doing the wrong thing, because we keep messing up. And so we keep thinking of ourselves as sinners, and yet Jesus, here this word, it says a lot of things, a lot of beautiful things. But one of the things that really caught my eye was just the last verse. "For in that he himself has suffered being tempted, he is able to aid those who are tempted. It's just a reminder that he was human once. And even though the Bible doesn't tell us, oh, he was tempted with these thoughts and he was tempted through these things, understand that he was a human. The things that you feel, the discouragement that you feel, the hopelessness that you feel, the urge to sin that you feel, all of those things that you feel as a human being, Jesus felt as well. And he was tempted to sin, and he was tempted to do certain things that were not from God, right? When you are, especially Jesus, he was a very young guy, you know. I say that because I'm 33, right? And I just keep thinking to myself, at this age, man, me being this age, if I had to die for our whole world and knowing that in a few months, in a few days, you know, I had to die, I would be so scared because I'm just now making friends. You know, he had Lazarus, he had other friends. I'm just now, my family's just now believing in me. I'm just now figuring out life, and now I have to die. You know, he lived 33 years in this world. He had friends, he had relationships, you know, with his family members. He had where they dinners together, you know. He created all those relationships with people. And now he has to leave it all behind. I'm sure he was hurting because you start becoming attached to certain people, right? I cannot imagine having to go through all of that at his age. And so, but he, it says that went through all of that. He became a human being so that he could understand what we were going through, so that he could face death and go through that suffering for us. So when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling sorry for yourself, when you are feeling hopeless, whatever it may be, when you're feeling tempted to sin, instead of trying your best not to do it and reading your word and fasting and stuff like that, begin by prayer. Come to him and say, Jesus, listen, brother, I really am tempted to steal, and I'm feeling this and this and this and this way and that, and unless you help me out, I can't do it. I've done that, okay, where I'm tempted to sin in certain ways, and I come to God and I say, Lord, unless you help me, like, you know me very well, you know my mind, you know what's going on. Unless you help me, I cannot do this. As a human being, I'm trying my best, but I cannot do it without your help. And you know what? Every time I come to him and I'm very sincere and saying, Lord, I'm feeling this way and that, or my thoughts are going in this direction, help me out, or else I'm gonna sin. I don't trust myself. Please help me out, or else I'm gonna sin. Whenever I'm feeling tempted, even to like buy things when I don't have money, you know, it could be something as simple as that. I come to him and I talk to him and I say, hey, Lord, I'm really tempted right now. And you know what? Every single time, you guys, almost immediately, those thoughts, they start leaving. Almost immediately, those temptations, they're no more. And I'm fine, and I can continue on without that sin, or without buying the wrong thing, or without whatever it is that I come to him. And so this is just a reminder to you. Don't be afraid to go to Jesus and say, Jesus, I am tempted to sin right now. I am tempted to not use my money wisely. I am tempted to sleep with a spouse that is not mine. I am tempted to steal. I'm tempted to lie. I am tempted to whatever it may be. I'm tempted, Lord Jesus, please help me. I'm feeling this in this way, and I don't trust myself. Please, unless you help me, I'm going to end up sinning against you. And he will help you because he understands. He was tempted once. He knows exactly what hopelessness means. He knows exactly what fighting temptation feels like. He knows exactly what making friendships and breaking those feel like. He knows exactly where your mind is, and he understands you as a human being. From your level, he understands you. He understands our willpower and the lack thereof. He understands you. Come to him and say, Lord, I'm dealing with some stuff. And so that is just a little reminder for all of us, right? To be sincere with God, to come to God and say, hey man, hey brother, I can't do this. I need you. And the God that came to earth and made himself a brethren like us, he is always there to help, and he will help because he has that power. And that way we can keep walking. And when we do sin, when we are not strong enough, and we still sin, we still, answer to that temptation, don't be afraid to go to him. He's not judging you like that. He's not sending you to hell right away. He's not saying, you've been horrible. You have been a horrible daughter. You have been a horrible son. I don't want to talk to you. What a failure you are. No, that's our voices. That is the devil trying to tear us down when we're already weak. When we are already weak and we have sinned and we have said yes to the devil's like, oh yes, I'm going to tear them down even more. And so it starts putting those thoughts in our heads. That's not God. God is always, always there waiting for us to come to him. He is always there waiting to dry our tears, always there to answer our prayers, always there to help us and lift us up again and say, you know what, you've sinned, let's work on it together, right? Because now you know the weak parts of your life. That is not God putting all those thoughts. You are not a failure. You are not a horrible person for sinning, for doing those things. Those are areas in your life that you need to pay attention to, but come to God. Go to Jesus, and he will give you the strength, and he will help start that process of strengthening you so it doesn't happen again. All right? That's just a reminder. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. You guys have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.